Hey, welcome back. We're here with another episode of the G.A.C. Coaches, G.A.C. Central.
G.A.C. Central.
It's tough to keep all of them separate sometimes. G.A.C. Central Coaches Preview. We have Zumwalt East today of the Fort Zumwalt East. Sometimes I skip the Zumwalt. Sorry.
A lot of people do. It's all
do.
good. It's all good, Coach.
It's Howell. It's not Frank. Whatever. I'm getting distracted already. But Coach Hill is here, and he's been at Zumwalt. How long have you been there?
Yeah, since 2007 when the doors opened. Yeah.
So he is Zumwalt East baseball.
Yeah.
Like you are.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but
I don't know.
it's
Well, I mean, it's been good. You've had a lot of success, a lot of great players.
had some good players, yeah.
So
we've had some good players. So,
it's
yeah.
good. It's got to be the coaching.
Well, it's not
Okay.
that easy.
It's not.
No.
But coaching helps.
I've been blessed with some good coaches. We were just talking about this as well, lower level guys. So, yeah, 2007, it's been a good journey. It's been a good run.
Good for you. I'm glad you've been there.
Yeah, now considered as the old guy around the conference.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you know how that is.
Okay, and we're done here. Yes, I do know what that feels like, but that's okay. It just means
good.
we're wiser,
That's
and
right.
we have a different perspective than the young guys.
That's right.
We have
I like
to balance them out.
I like it. I like it.
Speaking of young guys, you have some young guys, and it looks like you're going to be a little young this year, losing, you said, 10 seniors.
Yep. Yes, sir.
And
Lost
that
10.
group has been, the seniors that left were very successful.
Yes.
That's a group Final Four 2 years ago?
Yeah, 22.
So, I mean, they were very successful, and obviously it's beneficial having those experiences because some of the younger guys kind of, I'm sure some of these guys you're talking, they were part of that team or at least around it to see the work ethic, expectations, all that. So, just instilling those ideas and how it's done and seeing what it takes to get to a Final Four really is so beneficial. I don't think people understand.
Yeah, no, it's good. They get a little taste of it, and they see it. The younger guys kind of know what to expect and what it takes and things like that. So yeah, it is good. It's good to have the young guys around for sure, and we'll have a bunch of those guys around again. So
Well, like some of the other teams, it's funny each year. Like Timberland's going to be older this year, and Zumwalt South's younger. Like you get classes come through, and it's senior heavy, and then you drop off, and it's just opportunities.
Yeah.
I mean, young guys, it's not that there's not talent there. It's just talent that hasn't had a chance to show what they can do.
exactly, opportunity is a really good word. Yeah, it gives them an option to shine and show and prove, and it's such a short high school. You know how it is, Coach. It's like the high school season's so short. Sometimes it's tough, and you get a little pressure to try and take advantage of your opportunities. But so we'll see how it goes.
So coming back of your starters, I mean, you really only have two of one your top pitcher, but as far as position players, two of those guys coming back.
Yeah. As far as field guy out in the field, so position players with Ryan, Clee Thermos, and Lonnie Land, those were two contributors for sure. Last year's team, and then we got some arms back. We got a handful of arms back, but as far as everyday players, there's going to be some new faces out there in the field. That's for sure.
Yeah. So those two guys, position-wise, they can kind of stay where they were last year, or obviously they move around with opportunities, or
Yeah, Ryan will be an outfielder for us. He's been out there, ever since he's been at East, so he'll be out there. He might even get the opportunity to fill the shoes out in center. I don't know if you remember Jackson Carter, the fast kid
I've heard the name a couple times.
Yeah. So he's been in center field for a long time, and this will be the first year, in 4 years that I don't put Jackson Carter's name in center field. So Ryan's probably got that opportunity.
It's going to be rough for you.
It's going to be a little different, Ryan's a good outfielder, but
Nothing against Ryan, but
right.
he covered a lot of ground.
He did.
Easily. And
he did.
It's just, I know from you coach a kid for 4 years and have him that consistently, you know what to expect, and it's almost like you put him out there and you don't even think about.
Yeah. Right.
So
right.
But
Right.
again, opportunity for him maybe to fill those shoes. And
Yeah, so
take
Ryan,
control out there.
and Ryan's a really solid outfielder. He's been maybe last year I think he pressed a little bit, but I think he's going to be just fine now that he got the monkey off the back. He's going to Jeffco, so that's a good feeling of good word there. So he's relieved. I'm expecting a good fun season for Ryan. And then Lonnie plays the infield for us. He's a hockey guy like we were talking about, but he's sneaky athletic, and he's versatile on the infield. I think he kind of grew up playing a lot of shortstop for a big kid. He can move, but he's more a corner guy. Although he played second base for us some last year, because we had a pretty strong infield last year. So yeah, who knows where Lonnie lands, but. I didn't mean to say that. That was kind of funny, but
it was good though.
I didn't mean to do it, but we'll see how it unfolds. And of course, our arms, we got some arms back, but yeah, we have a couple guys, like some other guys that played some varsity that weren't necessarily everyday guys. So we'll see where they fit in. So
you got to land on the infield, like some of those other guys you're talking about. Any names you want to throw out that maybe round out, or at least options, obviously, until you see them more, and you got younger guys from the JV coming up, they're going to push them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options for you.
Yeah.
There's depth.
Yeah, there's definitely some, holes to fill, and there's a lot of spots that are uncertain, unproven. I think we have like 6 seniors coming back. So, with Lonnie and Ryan, and then Carter, of course, is, an arm for us. And, so Hollingsworth, and then we got Aiden Horn, we got Carson Page. Those guys throw for us, and that's going to be the MO of our team, I think, our pitching. So we can keep those guys healthy. That's a good thing, obviously, but those guys are going to kind of drive our team and drive our season if they're going to lead the way. And then Grant Bishop was a role player for us last year, and even Travis, my son Travis, got some time up on varsity, and so he's got a little bit of experience. But and even there was some younger freshmen that got to play last year who are now sophomores. Kevin Morgan, Dominic Pandolfo, those guys were pretty talented early, and they got a little taste of a senior loaded team last year. And I expect those guys, to fill the role somewhere with Travis and Kevin and Dom, and so we'll see. And there's even a couple other guys, like Tyler Clethermus is a sophomore that played on JV last year, who did pretty well, and he's going to have some opportunities, along with a lot of guys, to be honest. So yeah,
and that's what it's. Obviously, it's winter. I don't know if it's winter, so we're a ways away from the season. But the JV team last year,
solid. The biggest hole, honestly, is the coaching. We lost our JV coach, Coach Sugar. Was a former player of ours years ago. Yeah,
I did not enjoy playing against
him.
Yeah. Coaching against him, I didn't play against him.
Yeah, good player for us, and it was cool to see him come back as a coach for the last couple of years, and then so he took the head coaching job over at Orchard Farm. So I wish him well. I hated to see him leave, of course, but that's a big hole, and we'll talk about that later with the coaches. But JV team did really well, actually. Honestly, they did really well. One of our, if not maybe our best JV season, honestly, last year.
And I think one of the toughest parts, like to establish in a program, is that culture of winning. Mm-hmm. But once it's established, it's just not winning at the varsity level.
Right.
Like it's expected by JV, it's expected by the C team. I mean, you expect when you go play certain programs that they're going to play a certain way and compete.
Right.
And you have established that over the last however many years that it's going to be good competition when you go play Zumwalt East.
Yeah. We've been, like I said, pretty blessed with some players for sure. But this is probably our biggest program-wide, like up and down, of depth. We got a pretty big sophomore class that were, freshmen last year. That's, that they've been in the weight room. In fact, that 27 class, those guys are, very committed to the weight room, and all those sophomores have had some major growth since August 1, just lifting. And, we have a pretty good handful of good freshmen that are going to step in and play. So yeah, program wide, I feel like we have some depth. Now at the varsity level, we don't necessarily have that depth coming in this year because we lost 10 seniors. But program wide, we have, we have some quality dudes.
When you have younger guys that are willing to work, and they're committed, sometimes those guys can end up on varsity because they're like, hey, I'm going to pour into the younger guys that are working. They have some talent, some ceiling to live up to. And you never know, because the jumps that, especially if they're in the weight room working,
Right.
that's the biggest gap between that freshman, sophomore, junior, like physically.
Absolutely.
So if you get people committed to lifting, getting stronger and working, I know we've always been like, hey, I'd rather take a young kid that's going to work really hard and be a little less talented, but we know for the next several years
We're going to see, he's going to see improvement. He's going to gain.
you're going to reap the benefit in the future. But obviously, you have to mix it in with some seniors that are willing to pour into them, which is always that balance. There's so much. I think parents sometimes it's tough for them because they see their kid and want the best for their kid. But when you're putting together a team, it's a big jigsaw puzzle of the needs you have, the personality you need,
Position,
like
depth charts. Yeah.
So even giving a freshman a chance to come up, it has to make sense for the program, not just the kid.
Right. 100%. And a lot of guys players don't realize that too, because, like even last year, we had some really quality guys on JV that didn't play on varsity as much just because, well, we had some seniors that were pretty, established, and the depth chart, we didn't necessarily need that. So, they had to stay on JV and get better and stronger. And so, yeah, no, we've been pretty blessed with some depth, and back to the weight room. I can't speak enough about our program with lifting. I'm super proud of those guys, because 10 years ago, it wasn't a real big deal to push the weight room in the season. You would always talk about it out of season, 20 years ago, it was not really.
No, you weren't supposed to.
You know what I'm saying? But even 10 years ago, I feel like we didn't really lift much in season, and I'd say over the last, 5 to 8 years, we've made a pretty big change in that at East. And again, thankful, off the, we talked about our lower level coaches. Now I'm rambling a little bit, but Coach Varner was our freshman coach for so long, and then now he's over at House Central. Big time fitness guy, I miss him. And then my assistant, Steve Lotzenheiser, big time fitness dude, jack of all trades. But those guys really developed a culture in the weight room for us. And I was, just the old man along for the ride, that I would just kind of promote it. And I can't speak enough how that has paid dividends. You got guys like Braden Weber last year, who's catching up at McKendree, and just a beast, just a strong kid, and Eric Williams, as you know, those guys, I'm just super proud that they just kind of have paid it forward, and now I look at my younger guys, that group of sophomores are dedicated, so. It's
hard to get the ball rolling, but once you have that group that comes in and buys in and has success, then the kids behind them are like, man, that works.
Yeah.
And it's tough. I know Eric Goff was talking about creating the culture within a program. It's hard to do.
Yeah.
And especially, and you being there from the beginning, starting from nothing.
Yeah.
There's no expectations, no culture per se, because it didn't exist.
Yeah. Yeah, and that took time, and that
it's a process.
It does. It takes time, and success helps, because people buy in a little bit better when you have success. And we had success early, and then we went through a lull, and I was questioning myself even, but then ever since COVID,
it's not the coaching.
Well, you got to look in the mirror, I guess, sometimes.
It's good to reflect, but based on my experience, talent seems to really help with winning.
Yeah, for sure.
You have D1 kids on the field.
It helps, right?
It seems to really help make the coach look good. The
coach is better. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but as of late, we've had a pretty good run, and I'm pretty lucky. Like I said,
that's the younger guys and all these. There's a bunch of opportunities. They're working. Hopefully, it translates on the field. But part of that, and talking about earlier, and obviously, I was assistant for 25 years, and that role is much different than head coach.
Sure.
But having the staff, I know you were talking about the consistency that you've had within that coaching staff is such a huge benefit.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing how many people don't realize that freshman coach and the JV coach preparing those kids' expectation and all of it for you. That's a whole team working together to develop kids. So you said you've had the same group. Like, who are those guys?
Yeah. Well, so like, we had a handful of coaches, that stayed forever, and then, we lost Coach Wibes over there. He's over at Zumwalt West now doing his thing.
Big deal.
Yeah. And then, like I said, Varner was there for a long time at our lower level. He was great. Now he's actually the head basketball coach over at House Central, doing his thing over there. But the new guys, we have Tommy Hager, who's our new JV guy, and Caleb Watts, who's our new freshman guy. Those guys, college baseball guys, and Tommy, he's
Zumwalt
G.A.C.
West.
Yeah, Zumwalt West guy.
He was pretty good.
Yeah, he was a good player, real good player. So I'm excited to have some, new coaching blood. Don't get me wrong. You have to embrace it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's going to be different for me, but I think you as a coach, you have to adapt, and you can't get complacent with even your own coaching staff. So I think it's healthy to have change. Change can be healthy, it can be hard, but I'm looking forward to seeing those guys and working with the new guys and new ideas, because those guys both played college ball, and high level dudes that can help out. So I'm looking forward to that.
There's definitely having younger guys come in with new ideas. The way things are done now, like you said, 20 years ago, weightlifting looked different. 10 years ago, it looked different. Now it's in season. Things progress and change, and some of us older guys,
right? Yeah,
there's things that I never experienced,
right?
That younger college players now are experiencing. That's great.
Yeah,
new ideas.
It is. It's new. It is new, and it's good, and it's fresh. So I'm looking forward to
especially when you get guys, younger team that you'll have. It's good that they are hearing. I think there's a respect when it's like, hey, this guy just got done playing college.
Absolutely.
Because we can talk about playing long ago, and they're like, wow, did they use gloves then, or you just catch it bare hands?
Yeah, right. You're that old, right?
Exactly.
I know. It's getting harder,
Well, all the technology and metrics,
yeah.
I don't know what this stuff means.
Yeah, like the kid stays the same, 15, 16, 17, 18, but I'm getting older.
It is weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't talk about the rotational acceleration. I'm like, can you hit the ball?
Yeah, that's right.
Like during tryouts, I'm not measuring your rotational acceleration.
That's
you put
a whole
the barrel
topic
on the ball?
too, right? Metrics and
it's well beyond me. I'm like, I lose that.
It's fun, but it's at the same time.
It's interesting.
It is interesting.
So during tryouts, I'm assuming it's still kind of the old school.
Yeah.
You don't pay much attention to the metrics part. It's
right. It's more just to kind of measure and compare and, have something tangible to see. Because baseball's tough. You've been coaching a long time and you get it. It's like metrics are good, right? I mean,
there's validity with numbers.
Sure.
Someone throwing 95 makes it pretty easy to go, we should probably put you on the mound.
Yeah. Right. And then you look at like exit velo, does that make you a good hitter? Of course not. We know that.
Only when you hit the ball.
Right. So there's reasons for it. So we do test metrics, and tryouts, but their main purpose is, it is what it is, I guess. Just to kind of compare and see. And the boys actually like it nowadays. They love
a competition.
Yeah, because they grow up looking at the hit tracks,
the leaderboards.
Yep. How hard did you hit that?
I'm not gonna try. Yeah, I made the mistake of. We were on the hit tracks, whatever thing. My son was
jump
hitting,
back in there,
and it was Brett Graves from Premier, Nate Orff, and I'm like, I can still swing this thing. No, I can't.
Yeah.
No.
I'll tell you what it is. It's
I had a PO beat me.
Yeah, it's an eyes for me. For me, it's the eyes. Because I'll hit with my son all the time. Like throw me BP, give him a break, and then I'll hit.
Give him a break is the nice way of saying, hey, I want to swing.
Yeah.
Hey, you're looking tired. You know what?
Right.
Let me swing.
But then when we crank up a machine or something, put it at 30 feet, crank it up a little bit, it's like I don't see that like I used to see it.
It's a different world.
Yeah.
The bats are still better though. The bats they use now, I'm like, this thing feels so light and although everything feels light until you swing it, and then you realize you can't get through the zone. I don't know what we're talking about. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
But I was enjoying the conversation, so we went
absolutely.
with it. So, I know you talk about freshmen. Is there any freshmen you think maybe at some point this year you could take a look at that?
Yeah, I mean,
it's always a tough one. I know
it is tough, and then, like you said a few minutes ago, we talked about the just the physicality of it. That's kind of the biggest separator. There's very few freshmen that are physically ready for the varsity around here. At least obviously in our area, but yeah, we have a couple of freshmen that can play that are they look the part. I've seen him at camp. Lonnie's younger brother.
There's another land, huh?
Yeah. Harrison's he's a good. Yeah, he's a competitor. He's a hockey guy. So.
Man, someone should tell the dad to stop playing so much hockey.
Yeah, well, that's good.
I'm just kidding, Lonnie.
Yeah. So, and then we have another kid. Center's another guy who's a freshman, and he's a good player. But as far as needing them or seeing them, I don't know.
There's
yet.
So many.
Yeah, I don't know yet. But
when you're younger, and obviously you're filling 7 position players.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what's going to show up.
Yeah, and you don't. And injury too. Like heck, Eric Williams got his. We had a COVID third baseman that went down and an injury, and then all of a sudden it was like, who's our next best third baseman? And I was like, well, that freshman over there. So Eric jumped in the lineup and went 2 for 4, and he stayed in the lineup for 4 years. So I mean,
there was a need, and you got an opportunity, and that's what you never know. Those freshmen coming, you see them at the G.A.C. prep camp, you see them, and you're like, hey, this kid's got potential.
Yeah,
you never know. And with a younger team. Heck, you get 5 sophomores in, you got 5 freshmen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which makes it fun for you because it's like, man,
I
can try new things.
Yeah, it does. It makes it
tired
creative.
of writing Williams and Carter on the same line of Carter all the time. But
yeah, it was fun, but
not that you wouldn't mind doing it a couple more times, but
yeah, definitely. So yeah, I don't know if those guys will necessarily. Dive right into the varsity. But we have a handful of sophomores even, like I said, Kevin Morgan and Dom Pandolfo have some varsity experience, but, even like Tyler Cleathermas, Eric Spees, there's a couple guys from that JV team last year as freshmen who are now sophomores, can play, and, who knows where that leads. So, we don't have as deep of a junior class, but we have, like I said, program depth.
And that depth is what you can draw from and build another. Rarely do you have like the senior class that South had or what Timberland has this year. Like those classes come along every once in a while.
Right.
But normally it's you got 3 or 4 players from seniors and 3 or 4 from the juniors and maybe a couple young ones you're kind of moving along.
Each year.
And you build together, and that's what, at this point, you have your seniors, you have your number 1 arm back there at Hollingsworth, and you got 2 position players back.
Yeah.
And you fill in around them.
Yep. I do think our pitching is going to be it's going to be our MO. I mean, it's going to define us, because honestly, we don't really have a lot of pitching depth at East to say we have POs. I know there's a lot of coaches that have that luxury, especially on the G.A.C. South side.
G.A.C. South, there's a couple POs that are.
Yeah, they get that pitching depth for sure. And there's even some teams, obviously, in the Central and even on the North side that have POs. Don't get me wrong, but we rarely do we have like at East
someone that
POs,
is
like
dedicated,
right? And this year we do have that. With Carter and Aiden and Carson, those 3 guys right there, are going to lead the charge as far as pitching is concerned. And then. That's all they do, they PO. Yeah. And then the other 2 younger guys, the other arms that we'll probably use a lot is Kevin and Dom, and we'll see where that goes.
They do.
Yeah.
And you never, at tryouts, some of these kids could jump up 3-4 miles an hour.
Sure.
But just to know you have you have 3 options to look at your conference, and conference games are always a challenge.
Yeah,
and I love how we're doing the Tuesday, Wednesday, because it takes 2 guys to really beat you. And it's always fun, and obviously the Central's changed with the teams, North Point and Timberland, new competition for you.
Absolutely,
and that'll be fun to see all those new rivalries develop. And I know you and South have gone at it quite a bit lately.
Yeah, I know they always seem to get our number, they have our number towards the end. But it's been a fun battle, and I'm looking forward to having more battles, now with Coach Mitchell, and so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, it'll be fun. Central's going to be fun. I mean, it's the GAC's fun. I mean, that's the nice part. And
pretty competitive.
With moving teams around, you get to see different ones and see how it turns out this year. And you get to put together a nice jigsaw puzzle here.
Yeah, that is the joy of coaching. Is putting pieces of the puzzle together. It's always honestly that's one of the. coaching at the public school and private school is different. And, I'm not saying one is easier than the other, but
they're different.
They're different. And when you have these pieces of the puzzle to put together, it's fun, it's challenging, but that's the joy of coaching, I think, is trying to get the most out of what you have.
Oh, yeah. You see them, develop them, build relationships with them, and then they move on, and you get to do it again.
Yeah.
Until you retire and start doing podcasts.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, wait, that's just me.
That's you.
So I appreciate you coming on. It's always good talking to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Look forward to coming out and watching and just observing the greatness. It's tough when you're the assistant coach because I'm like rooting against you at the same time.
Sure.
I'm like, I like you, but it's tough. Now I can just go and be like, I don't care who wins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Funny.
I do care because
I'm sure
some coaches I like more than others.
I'm sure you got a little,
There's a little bias for some.
Definitely, I would assume.
I mean, I like you, so you're one of my favorite ones. Okay. Not that it matters. So
yeah, and for the record, I do recall going down and seeing your bunting display. I was just up at the top.
I appreciate that.
Just peeking down.
You were up on the thing. I know you were there. I saw. You keep track of like, hey,
absolutely,
who wants to actually get better and who
and learn
was avoiding.
I actually might call you because
I got some time.
We could always use help on bunting.
Hey, anytime you want me to come teach bunting, I will come over gladly.
Yeah, I might have to change hats and don't tell my players you're from.
I don't tell anyone. I don't. All I got on now is Diamondback stuff. So I haven't.
Could be a lot worse.
I was gonna say
it's like that going good, I guess, right?
He seems to be enjoying it.
Good.
I'm not gonna lie though, when your son leaves, it's not enjoyable.
Yeah.
At least it was for a good reason. Again, sorry, sidetrack. But if you liked what you heard and you need to share it with your aunt, uncle living in other states, it'd be great. Just share it with them. Like it, subscribe, all those great things. And then share, be like, hey, they talked about like Lonnie Land on this. You really need to hear. Actually, it's Lonnie Land his little fourth. I didn't know Lonnie was the third. I've known Lonnie since whatever. Lonnie held out on me. That's beside the point. My best friend in high school held out on me. We're talking about some weird things today with Zumwalt East, but we'll get there. Anyway, share, like it, subscribe it, and come back and see the rest of the Coaches Preview, which will be coming up soon. So appreciate you watching. Have a good day, night, whenever you're watching it.